AITA for not looking after a kid anymore? I 27 meters, used to live in a shitty apartment building. I had a neighbor right next to me called Sarah approx 24F, who had a 6-year son Mark. I had lived there for 3 years and moved out about 2 months ago. My grandfather passed away and left most of his money/possessions to me and my sisters. It wasn't much after taxes, but I was able to use it as a deposit on an apartment. Sarah and her son moved in about 4 to 5 months after I did, and although she didn't talk about it, I got the feeling that her ex hadn't been the greatest. Police would come round occasionally to check she was okay. The kid was scared stiff of loud noises and yelling, etc. I work from home data analyst, so was around a lot. Mark used to go to a preschool while she worked, and then after he started school he was supposed to go to an after-school child-minding thing. Sarah works 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. as a nurse aide. Problem is that back in March of last year his after-school thing closed, and then a couple months later his school shifted all their learning online while his mom only got busier because of the virus. I kept seeing him playing outside by the road or hanging off the balcony and was a bit worried for his safety, so started offering him hot chocolate and keeping an eye on him. About a week later Sarah came by and offered me $20. She was very apologetic and explained that her parents disowned her and she couldn't afford a full-time nanny for him, but also couldn't afford to quit her job to keep an eye on him, which was basically her only other option. My older sister is a nurse and I'd seen her looking shattered and with bruises on her face from her mask, so I felt really bad for them and offered to keep an eye on Mark while she worked, since I was at home anyway and he's a cool kid. Long story short, I told Sarah in October I was moving out and she was distraught about what she'd do with Mark. School/childcare still hadn't reopened here yet. I offered for her to drop him off at my new place while she was working as a temporary solution during the virus. This had been working for the last couple of months until I received a letter from a lawyer basically informing me that Sarah was filing for child support against me as I had taken on a paternal figure in Mark's life. I immediately called Sarah and told her to come get Mark. We had a massive fight because basically she thinks I can afford it, so why shouldn't I pay it? After she picked him up I blocked her number and contacted a lawyer who told me that I would probably be fine as I'm not his dad and I never offered to take care of him in any financial way. Sarah has been in touch with my sisters who think that I'm doing the right thing not paying, but I'm being a dick by refusing to look after Mark anymore. I feel like shit since he's probably back to being stuck in those shitty apartment blocks again, but I also don't want to risk a court case. AITA for refusing to look after him while she works? Tiny update, thank you for all the lovely messages. I can't see some of them because a Reddit error keeps popping up, but I'm trying to read all of them. I've said this a few times in the comments, but we'll put it here too. After what has happened I have contacted child services. I haven't had an update from them, but I will post here if I hear anything. AITA for refusing to help my mother unless she sues my father for the child support he owes. My mom loves being a martyr. She raised me by herself after my father left. She refused to take him to court for child support and instead let me grow up not in poverty but not exactly well. I had food and clothing and a roof over my head. I also started having to provide for myself when I started babysitting. I was earning money so I could afford to pay for some of my own things like school fees and such. I got out when I was 16. I moved in with her sister, my aunt. My aunt helped me get my act together and get into college. She helped me get a judgment against my father for child support. He never paid it. She helped me apply for scholarships. She helped me save my money to start my business after I graduated. I am doing well now and my mom is getting close to retirement. She recently contacted me and asked if I could help her out. She had worked herself to the bone supporting me growing up and she feels like I owe her. I told her that she probably has less money than she could because she never bothered collecting child support. She screamed at me that she had made her decision to cut my father out of her life and that I needed to respect it. So I told her that there was an existing judgment against him for child support. It was worth a fair bit of money and all she had to do was get a lawyer to get it for her. She hasn't called me for money since. But she also has not tried to collect the money he owes her. I regularly stop by to see my aunt and take her shopping for groceries and household goods. I pay because I owe her. She took me in and helped me for 2 years of high school and 6 of college. My mom has been complaining to her about me, but my aunt also thinks that my mom has been leaving money on the table long enough. Answers to questions I know I will be asked. I am an affair baby. My father is still married to his wife. I am 100% his child. He is on my birth certificate and there is DNA evidence. My mom is a healthcare aide. I am an accountant. To the best of my knowledge, he never gave her any money. Or if he did, it wasn't enough to make our lives any easier. I got the judgment but never sought to get it enforced. I just wanted it for backup. My mom says that I'm an asshole for second guessing her choices and not helping her. I told her I would after she collected from him. AITA for telling my parents to get their other kids to help out. I'm 24F, the oldest of 5 kids. There's 16 meters, 15F, 13 meters, and 12F, at home still. I moved out when I was 17, went to stay with grandparents, and I've been mostly estranged from them since. The reason? They had me young and my parents had more kids they could hardly afford. So I was forced to sacrifice. Sacrifice my time by babysitting, sacrifice getting a filling lunch in school, still got one but they gave me less because I had allergies and they could no longer afford to buy as much alternatives for me, and I sacrificed having my own bed because we lived in a 3-bedroom house, where the girls' room had a double bed and a single instead of bunk beds, which sucked so much. I won't say they had it perfect either, but the weight of everything was put on me. The weight of the financial struggle, of needing childcare, of whenever someone was sick, it was placed on me, and my parents just kept having more for a while. And they would tell me we needed to shield my siblings from how tough it was. And it did hurt the relationship I had with them. They grew up feeling like I owed them, like it was my job to take care of them as basically equal to our parents. Now my parents have hit a very low point and both are working, my dad 2 jobs, because of the mess they created, and they asked me for help in the home. Basically help make food for the kids and keep the house from falling apart. I told them to ask the other kids because some of them were old enough to help out more. They said I'm the oldest and should want them to have their childhood. I told them they took most of mine and turned me into an adult and they will not get my help for anything again. They think I'm being ungrateful. I think they're selfish for asking for more. AITA? AITA for not wanting to give any money to my pregnant ex? My ex, 25F, and I, 27M, were together about 6 months, but during that time we were free to see other people. Things weren't working out, so we broke up. Over a month after that she finds out she's pregnant and tells me baby is mine. But I already knew she was seeing other guys, so it was also possible the baby isn't. She got mad that I was having doubts, but I said if we got a paternity test and it showed I'm the dad, then yeah, I'll 100% be involved. My ex didn't want that and she'd rather wait until after the baby is born to get a test done, so I said that's fine, it's her choice. But I won't get myself involved unless I know the baby is mine. Like I already know I could be set up for child support if I start helping out now and then later it's revealed I'm not the father. I live in the US and have heard this stuff happens a lot. I'd rather not even risk it, you know? She's about 8 months now and I have started saving up money, reading up some books, making shopping cart lists of baby clothes and furniture to buy in case I am the father, so it's not like I'm not preparing for this at all. So right now money is tight with her since I know she's only working part-time. She doesn't have the money for a baby bassinet or clothes because she practically lives paycheck to paycheck. She started asking to let her borrow money for baby stuff, but I've told her no. Far as I know, she doesn't have other family she's close to, and friends are the same as her with money. But I already said I'll start giving her money and helping out once I know her son is mine. Otherwise, I'd rather not get involved. I've even told her to reach out to the other guys who could also be the dads, but she said one is even more broke and the other she hasn't been able to contact. So for right now, seems like I'm the only one actually able to offer financial support. We have a couple mutual friends and I'm getting shit from them because they know I have the money to help out. She could be the mom of my kid, so the least I could do is provide. They say they would if they had the money. Since I do have the means and this baby could be mine, I should already be helping. They have a point. The baby could be mine and I'll be happy to help out. Once I know he is in fact mine. But everyone else is seeing it as I'm being too cold and inconsiderate. I don't think I am, but want to know what others believe. AITA?